Let me tell you about a fella I once crossed paths with. Name was Jim Day.
All right, so we are going to go through a cool little actual practical workflow here. We're going to use our F5 text-to-speech, and we're going to clone a voice, or really well mimic a voice. Then we're going to use LivePortrait. We're going to do some lip syncing on there, and we're going to end up creating an image that has the voice and has the lip synced movement to it. We're going to use some supporting softwares. We're going to use ChatGPT. We're probably going to use our OpenShot video recorder, and we're just going to or video maker, and we're just going to use our basic camera app on our Windows. Now, this isn't going to be the smoothest workflow in the world. It ain't going to be like a comfy UI where you just click it and it's going to go to here and then go to here and then go to there and then it's done. We're going to actually be opening up every one of these, using them in a singular fashion to get something that we can then put to the next level. Okay, and I'm going to show you how I do that when I make my stuff. Going to be a cool lesson in how to tie a bunch of this stuff together. So before we do that though, please do go ahead and like the channel, hit that subscription button so when you are sleeping it goes off and you pop out of bed and honey goes, what's going on? And you go, oh, hey, you posted another video, I've got to get going fast. So that's what that will do for you. And actually, I don't know if that'll do for you. That'd probably keep you from hitting it. Just hit it and you'll get a little message saying when there's a new video for you to watch. And that way we're going to keep on top of this whole AI thing together. I certainly do appreciate your support in all of this. We are the community. So there it is. All right, well, let's move on with this and let's get to the building stuff. Yo. Okay, so first thing we need to do is we need to get a video to work with this. So if you see over here, we're going to go to our browser, and if you're running the TTS, the F5 TTS Plus, you'll have this YouTube tab, and then we're going to be able to just put in a video here and download it. Otherwise, if you're running the normal version, you'll have to use your other software to go ahead and download that. But what we're going to do is we're going to go to YouTube. Now, I had a video here, but if you notice as I play it,
Tomorrow, remember.
There's a lot of
I say it every
music.
day. The only thing any of us have going for us.
Oh, well, here's a section.
And I believe this. If tomorrow, all of us, every single one of us gets out of bed and says, this is my country, and I'm going to do good for it.
Okay, so there we've actually got a section. I thought that this was mostly music. Now, you'll notice that when
To practice hoop over
the
his
music that's in the
garage
background and stuff like
without
that,
a light from above.
that would mess up the video, but we're going to do fine. So we're just going to go ahead and paste that in there, and then we can click this download video. Now, you're going to see it starting to work over here. If you went over to your command prompt, you can actually see it downloading there. Okay, let's make this a little smaller. You would see it downloading. Okay, now going back to the browser, you're going to see it's done. And you can tell it's done by this thing pops up.
For a base on
So
ball.
let's go ahead and find that section that had no music. I think it was around, let's see. Well, I missed it. I think it was around 149. All we need to do is get 15 seconds. Let's check this at 140.
Every man and woman or child I've ever known, met, seen, or heard of
So let's go ahead.
wants one thing more than anything else in the world. That one thing is tomorrow.
Let's see.
Tomorrow, that's the only thing any of us have going for us.
Okay, there we go. So we found 15 seconds of video without music. So let's go down here to trim audio. Okay, and we're going to go 140 to 155. Now again, if you don't have the TTS Plus, you're not going to have this screen. So you just got to have to use a probably YT-DLP and then throw in some FFmpeg commands. But I'm going to go ahead and hit this trim audio, and you're going to see it trimmed it.
Woman or child I've ever known, met, seen,
Okay,
or...
so now we actually have the audio we're going to use. So we're going to go back over here to TTS and click there. Now here it says drop audio. I'm going to click this, but I'm going to go ahead and turn this on to desktop so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so we're going to have to go find where this is installed. Okay, so mine's under audio, and then there's your F5 TTS. Now I'm going to click on clips, and I'm going to find here's trimmed. Okay, Audio is the big download. Trimmed is the one we made. So I'm going to throw that in there. Okay, that should play. Sometimes these things take a minute you have to do it a couple times. So I'm going to let that sit. Let's try it again. There we go.
Woman or child I've ever known, met, seen, or heard of wants one thing more than any.
Okay, so now we've got to get some text. So here's where I'm going to just go ahead and I'm going to cheat. I'm going to go over to ChatGPT. Okay, and I'm going to say, write a 1-paragraph message in the style of John Wayne. It should mention the inspiration that a fellow he once met named Jim Day had on his life. How, when told to get going fast by this Jim fella, it really marked the beginning of his career. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get some text. Well, partner, let me tell you about a fellow who wants to cross paths. His name was Jim Day. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and copy that, okay? And now we're going to go back over to our Gradio path. Now we're going to go text to generate. We're just going to paste that in there, okay? So we've already got 15 seconds worth of of style, okay? And hold on just a second. Let's get this up here. There we go. Hey, there's that ugly fella. Okay, so now we got F5, and then we got this E2 TTS. We're going to try both of them. Let's go ahead and just synthesize this one. And you're going to see it's doing all its stuff up here. Now, notice there's no reference text. That means it's actually transcribing it. It's using Whisper to get the words up here so it can match it and make a good model for it. So that's really cool that it does that on its own. So we'll just wait. Usually we'll go a little bit faster, but I am running other AI stuff, but still, this is fast. So let's see how it sounds.
Now, partner, let me tell you about a fella I once crossed paths with. Name was Jim Day. Now, old Jim wasn't the kind to mince words, and when he told me to get going fast, I reckon it hit me like a bolt of lightning.
Okay, that's okay. Let's go ahead and let's try this other model. Let's see if we can get one better out of that. So that was okay. Just like with any AI, it's like when you're making images, you do one image, great. You do another, that's better. You do a few of them, and then you eventually get the one that you really like. Okay, so this is popping up here. Let's see. Okay, so we can check in our command prompt. I was just seeing if there was anything going on there. It's not. Probably taking a little bit more time because it has to load the model. But let's see how this one sounds.
Now, partner, let me tell you about a fella I once crossed paths with. Name was Jim Day. Now, old Jim, he wasn't the kind to mince words, and when he told me to get going fast, I reckon it hit me like a bolt of lightning. That was the moment the wheels started turning for me. His words sparked something deep down, and I'll be darned if that wasn't the real start of my journey.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and try another one here. Let's go ahead. We'll do it together. Let's synthesize one more, and then we'll just use what we got. Okay. All right, so that's done. Let's try this one.
Now, partner, let me tell you about a fella I once crossed paths with. Name was Jim Day. Now, old Jim must have going for us. He wasn't the kind to mince words, and when he told me to get going fast, I reckon it hit me like a bolt of lightning. It was have going for us.
So that doesn't work so good. So I'm going to pause it and just get a better one. We'll be right back. All right, so here's one. Let's try
Now,
this.
partner, let me tell you about a fella I once crossed paths with. Name was Jim Day. Now, old Jim, he wasn't the kind to mince words, and when he told me to get going fast, I reckon it hit me like a bolt of lightning. That was the moment the wheels started turning for me. His words sparked something deep down, and I'll be darned if that wasn't the real start of my journey. Jim Day, well, He might not know it. He lit a fire under me that ain't ever burned out.
All right, so that ain't perfect, but that's going to be good enough for our purposes. So we're going to go ahead and click this download button, and we're just going to go put it. I'm going to put it here in my Y-out file. So we'll call this Wayne. Okay. Now, I have noticed that the more you actually write like someone would actually talk, the actual better it works. So this was a little slow draw. It might not have been the best, but it all works fine. Okay, so now what we're going to do, we're going to head on over and let's go to images.google.com and let's find a good picture of John Wayne to work with. So let's find which one of these his mouth is going to fit best. And so we want something pretty much with him looking. I think I always like this picture is a good one. That might work. I think that one might work good. Let's go ahead and try this one. So let's go ahead and I'm going to right click on it. I'm going to save it as, and I'm just going to put it in the same folder here. We'll call it Wayne. And it's going to save it. Now, what we want to do now is we've got our sound, okay? And like I said, you work with this, you can get better quality than that. I've gotten some that are just truly amazing. But what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and open up our LivePortrait. Now, if you get LivePortrait from my Patreon site, this screen is going to pop up because there's two versions, okay? The humans and the animals. And to run them, you have to run two different commands. So I just put it together in a bat file. So we're going to go ahead and let the humans rule. We're going to let the humans version load up, and then we're going to say it's now going here. So I'm going to hold down the control button, then left click on it, and it's going to pop it up here. Now, we're going to grab that picture of John Wayne we found. So let's go back to our folder, and we're going to put that in there. So that's the one we're going to see the mouth change. Okay, now, this is where it gets a little bit complicated. So because we don't have a video of him saying those words, we're going to have to create a video of us saying those words so that then we can throw it up here. This is not, like I said, this is not the cleanest way to do this. But for right now, this is the best way that we have to do it. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my camera app because I have discovered that while I can, here, in fact, let's do a test. While I can use, oh, I actually won't be able to because we're doing our thing here, but you can hit the camera button here. And while you can record yourself here, the camera does not always pick up the background noise. So I found that when you're using your Windows camera app, that it'll pick up the background noise. So let me go ahead and I'm going to pause this. I would like to show you how to do it, but we can't do it both together. Although maybe it would do that. Let me stop this and we will make one here together. Let's give this a try. Hold on just a sec.
Now, partner, let me tell you about a fella I once crossed paths with. Name was Jim Day. Now, old Jim, he wasn't the kind to mince words. And when he told me to get going fast, I reckon it hit me like a bolt of light. That was the moment the wheels started turning for me. His words sparked something deep down, and I'll be darned if that wasn't the real start of my journey. Jim Day, well, he might not know it. He lit a fire under me that ain't ever burned out.
Okay, so now we have recorded a thing of rereading it. Now, guys, you can do this. You can do this a lot better quality. I'm just doing it fast here for us. But what we're going to do, we're going to pop back over to our browser here. Let's get this up here. And, oh, why did that change on us? Oh, I know why. Hold on just a second. Let's put this back into here. And that should fix that. Come on. There we go. Okay, so now let's get back over here. Now we're going to go grab that video that we just made. So we're going to go over here. And I believe it's going to be this one. All right, so let's give it a go.
Now, partner, let me tell you about a fella I once crossed paths with. Name.
Okay, so this is not going to be the greatest, but I'm just showing you what we're doing. So we've gone ahead, we have created a drive-in video here of us, okay? Now all we're going to do, we're going to go down here and click the animate button, okay? Now it's going to throw an error because I got too much going on, so hold on just a second. Okay, so we have gone ahead and done it. Let's see how it turned out. Now, I didn't do a great job of lip syncing it, so there's going to be some errors, but let's see how it looks.
Now, partner, let me tell you about a fella I once crossed paths with. Name was Jim Day. Now, old Jim, he wasn't the kind to mince words, and when he told me to get going fast, I reckon it hit me like a bolt of light. That was the moment the wheels started turning for me. His words sparked something deep down, and I'll be darned if that wasn't the real start of my journey. Jim Day, well, he might not know it. He lit a fire under me that ain't ever burned out.
That's pretty good, okay? That's still pretty good. So let's go ahead and get that Discord closed. That's not bad. So let's go ahead and work with it. Well, let's go ahead and save this. So we're going to click this and we're going to call it Wayne, and it's going to save it as an MP4. Now, there's a few things that we can do. So let's go ahead. I'm going to open up this OpenShot video editor. Okay, let me get us on the desktop view. Okay, now, so let's go ahead and do this. If you don't have this app, this is actually a really good good one to work with. It's got its little things that are kind of frustrating, but it works good. We're going to click Import Files, and we'll go back to where we saved that. Let's go ahead and grab this Wayne.mp4. So it's going to put that there. Now, what it does is it puts it up here in this timeline up here. I'm going to drag it down to here. Okay, now if we hit space bar, it'll go ahead and play.
Now, partner,
now
let me tell you about a fella I once crossed paths with. Name was Jim Day. Now, old Jim, he wasn't the kind to mince words, and when he told me to...
See, now some of this, it's a little bit off. So let's go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and right click on it and let's click separate audio. So we're just going to separate it down to here. Now, what we might be able to do if we zoom in, let's figure out if I think the video lags behind. How would that work? So the words say before.
Now, partner.
Okay, so we want to move this a little bit. Let's zoom way in here, and let's move the audio just barely. I hate it when it does that. Can't see. Okay, there we go. Let's see if changing that just a little bit fixes it.
Now, partner, let me tell you about a fella I once crossed paths with. Name was Jim Day. Now, old Jim, he wasn't the kind to mince words, and when he told me to get going fast, I reckon it hit me like a bolt of light.
Okay, that's decent. So now what I'm going to do is let's go ahead and zoom in so we can, well, what we want to do is get back to the beginning of this. This one of the things about this software that just drives me nuts. It's difficult to move this thing. Okay. Now let's go ahead. Okay, so like I said, this is a free software. It's very powerful. It has some limitations. Okay, so if we zoom in, okay, so let's go like up to here where the video is.
Now, partner.
Okay, I'm going to move this to here. And now I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to go click, right click. I'm going to go slice and I'm going to say keep the right side. Oh. Well, that totally screwed that up. So let's go ahead and see if we can cut it. What I'm trying to do is cut this video. Okay, I guess maybe let's try it here. Let's go ahead and say keep the right side. Why is it doing that? That is frustrating.
Let me tell you about a fella I once crossed paths with.
Oh, there it did it.
Name was Jim Day. Now, old Jim, he wasn't the kind to mince words, and when he told me to get going fast. I reckon it hit me like a bolt of light. That was the moment the wheels started turning for me.
Okay, so there, that was kind of confusing. All right, let's go back to here. Now let's cut that and let's go slice, keep the right side. There we go. Now we can put these all back over here. I'm not certain why it was doing that. I think maybe I was zoomed in too far.
Let me tell you about a fella I once crossed paths with. Name was Jim Day. Now, old Jim, he wasn't the kind to mince words.
All right, there we go. Okay, so what we did is we separated the audio, okay? Then we went ahead and moved it forward just enough to line up with the lips a little bit better. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and click on File, and then we're going to click on Export Project. So you click here. Okay, now one of the frustrating things about this application is it always puts you back in the same place. So I want to put it in my out folder. Okay, and I'm gonna select that folder. And I'm gonna call it Wayne Finished. Okay, now once I save this, every time I come back in here, it's gonna ask for this same stupid folder path, but whatever. Okay, now up here I can go ahead and I can play with the quality. Up here you're gonna get into higher quality. Down here you get into lower quality. Okay, you don't want to use these green ones. I'm not quite sure what that stands for, but I know that it will not work. Okay, so let's go ahead and I'll do this XVID MP4 format. Or maybe let's make it smaller. Let's go down to this one. Okay, now all I got to do is just export the video. Okay, we can watch the percentages go. I believe that under the settings there is a acceleration settings. I haven't gotten them to work quite right, but that's fine. So we'll go ahead and pause this just for a second while this finishes, and we'll be right back. Okay, so you're going to see that this is now done. I'm trying to get this out of the way so we can get back over to here. So all we got to do is click done. Okay, and our video is done. So let's close this out. I'm not going to save the project, but you obviously can. Okay. Go back to our browser here. You're welcome to save all this stuff. By the way, it's kind of cool.
Our partner.
Okay, so let's find our actual result, though. So let's go over here and Wayne Finished.
Let me tell you about a fella I once crossed paths with. Name was Jim Day. Now, old Jim, he wasn't the kind to mince words. And when he told me to get going fast, I reckon it hit me like a bolt of light. That was the moment the wheels started turning for me. His words sparked something deep down, and I'll be darned if that wasn't the real start of my journey. Jim Day, well, he might not know it. He lit a fire under me that ain't ever burned out.
There you go. All right, good job. So we have done something. We did that. That took us like 15 minutes, maybe. That really wasn't that difficult. That wasn't the highest of quality, but you can imagine if you spent an hour on this, you spent time just really making certain how to get this going, you could do that. All we did was we loaded up F5 TTS Plus, found our video, used the download portion of the plus. Okay, we trimmed it, threw it in there. We went over to ChatGPT. We had it just give us some text. Okay, threw it back in there, generated. We ran 3-4, got something that was going to work good enough for what we wanted to do. Okay, then we went over to LivePortrait. We went over to images.google.com and we went and threw in an image. Okay, found one that we wanted, threw it into LivePortrait. We created a video image of ourselves, mouthing the words. Again, spend as much time on that as you want. I did one run through that, so it wasn't very good. But if you ran it 3-4 times, you're going to figure out the timings. You're going to get it just right. Threw it back in LivePortrait, and in less than 5 minutes, it generated that video. Now, because there was some lip syncing issues, we opened up OpenShot, okay? And then we separated the audio and the video, okay? And then we just moved the audio a little bit to the side, just enough to catch up with the mouth. Exported it, and voila, we had our John Wayne. video. And now you could go on, there's little glitches in there. You could always go in there and cut those, use OpenShot to cut out the things, make it really good, okay? And again, if you spend more time with the initial text-to-speech thing, you'll get the perfect text-to-speech. We just grabbed what was best because for me, it's about getting what you need for the project. Okay, if I got to do something that's high quality, I'm going to spend a lot of time making sure it's high quality. But we just needed to get something quick, get going fast so we could make this video, didn't we? And it worked out great. And now you guys can do that too. So just remember, you can get all these softwares over here at the Patreon site. You just go to patreon.com/cognibuild, and just do a search for them. Okay, you can just type in LivePortrait. Okay, you can just type in F5, okay, and you can get that. Now, all this stuff, of course, is free for members, plus you get news and all sorts of other cool stuff, or else you can just get the installer from the shop, whatever you want to do. So, but the main thing is to just get going and to start building this stuff, okay? I've got tutorials to show you how to do all of this. You can do this all for free, and that's what I've done, is I've just built the stuff piece by piece by piece, and you can do it too, because truth be known, you're pretty excellent and you're a smart person, and I know you can do this. So all right, well, we're going to end it there. You stay good as always, and we're going to catch you on the other side.